Welcome to Azad Bio Academy. Today's lecture topic is cancer. Cancer. This very complicated one, and I will try to explain the basics of cancer. Okay, definition, characteristics that will be connected by in molecular level, and overall, I will try to consider the overall scenario and the environmental factors which are associated with the cancer. Then after that I will try to give you a complete beautiful definition. Okay, so firstly, if I want to go into the details, firstly I should draw some normal cellular structure and their function, then how it will become cancerous and how the normal function of the cell will be deteriorated and will be dangerous, and why they will proliferate more than normal. The answer will be very clear. So try to be with me. Okay. So first of all, suppose these are normal cell. Okay, and these are just consider as a nucleus, and this is the extracellular space. And you can say this very organized way, cells are just assembled here and form a particular tissue and then particular organ. And each and every cell has a normal function. Okay, they will take nutrients they will make energy and they will show its activity. And the combination or assembling of all the activities, your tissues will work and your organ will work. Okay, so this is very common phenomenon. And suppose you can think here by some external influences or your internal factor, some cells has damaged. Okay, damaged. So how your neighboring cell will play an important role to make this gap? It's very simple. The debris cell, will produce some factors that will instigate the neighboring cell, please proliferate and make the gap. Some signaling factors, some growth factors can give signal to the neighboring cell. And also, these cells are just living as like a community. And when four family already damaged, so the density will be changed. So the very beautiful harmonious environment was maintained by the all the community members. So when four of them already died, so the density will be less than previous. So the neighbor cell will get information, okay, something problem, okay, and they will get information. So information, of course, the chemical message from the debris, from the dead cell factor, some factors, signaling factors, and the overall dense environment, the cell will be and another two cell, that is by mitosis, and that will fill up the gap. Okay, here it will be divided into two, and here it will divided into two and fill the gap. And so it is very well planned and well controlled manner. It will be done by very precise manner because it is on demand. Okay, no abnormalities here, so no problem. Sometimes when some attack here and some massive cell damage over there, And sometimes the overflow of nutrient, overflow of oxygen, overflow of hormone, and adverse situation. Some number of cell can be more than normal. Okay, here some additional cells are formed. Okay, and it is also within the control and on demand. So it will be reversed when the problem will be solved. It will be reversed. So when the number of cell will be more than normal within the control manner, so this is called hyperplasia. Okay, so this is normal phenomenon. It is happening within your body frequently, no problem. So reversible way it will be again in normal situation. That's it. So no problem. So what will happen? So everything is regulated and controlled by the cell and within the cell. Now I will draw a cell here, and you can say this is a nucleus, and within the nucleus this is a, you can say this is brain, you can say this is cell, this is your cell head, and this is brain. Okay, so the cellular organelles here and there, different organelles are mostly they are protein in nature, and they will give its function by signaling factors, and they will work, and their production, everything is regulated, controlled by the head office, that is your brain. So the cellular brain is considered as a genetic material. Okay, so this is genetic material, and genetic materials, this is DNA. Okay, and particular DNA, suppose here to here, particular number of sequence, the nitrogenous base sequence, is responsible for a particular function. That means it will express and it will produce a particular protein, or it has different particular role. So then it is called gene. Okay. So when the cell division, matter of cell division will just come in your mind, the division, mitosis, it's a long process. Okay, so different types of factors, enzymes, and genetic materials, proliferation, and different substances are needs to produce, and then it will complete the mitosis process. So particular gene must be expressed, and it will produce particular factor, and that will contribute to the mitosis process. Okay, so what will happen when your brain, that means your genetic materials, DNA, will be altered? Then it will produce particular faulty protein, and then that faulty protein is basically responsible for causing all the problems. Okay, so before going to that, actually I should just give you some basic of a normal phenomenon, and then I will go for mutation and cancer. So this is cell, and this is your genetic material within your nucleus, that is chromosome, and then DNA finally, and that DNA will be replicated by 2 DNA, and then it will be transcribed into RNA, and RNA with different factor, that is ribosome, tRNA, RNA here, and assembling form, it will produce particular protein. Okay, so where protein comes? Actually, from where protein comes? Actually, protein comes from a particular gene. Already I said gene. And what is gene? Gene will be expressed produce a particular protein or it has a particular function. Okay, so this is the matter. Particular protein comes from a particular gene. Suppose you can think from here that mRNA produced, and that mRNA contain a particular codon, and it will assemble by the tRNA and ribosome, and it will produce a particular protein. Okay, and that protein will contribute or the cellular organelles, their function, their signaling pathways, their membrane function, and overall their community function, their development, their proliferation. Okay, so what will happen when that particular gene will be mutated? And then what will happen? The controller of a gene, that is tumor suppressor gene there, and if their mutation or genetic alteration happen, or even there, then ultimately it will lose its control to prevent the normal mutation. So ultimately the DNA will be altered. How DNA will be altered? That is, suppose here this is A, so their corresponding is T, this is G, C, that is Z, that is Z, that is C, A, T, T, C, like that. That is the DNA sequence, that means the base pairing. And from that base pair, that will produce a particular messenger RNA. Okay, so ATGC, and if mutation occur, then what will happen? Mutation means the base will be altered, changed. Some base can be insert, or base can delete, or base can alter. Okay, so suppose you can think the ACG, that is responsible for particular amino acid, and that three base make a codon, and that will responsible for particular amino acid. Actually, that from that DNA, it will actually carry on the mRNA. Okay, so here if you think this is DNA, and it will produce a mRNA, and when the codon will be changed, so mRNA will be changed, so altered, like suppose the C is missing here, that is deleted. So before that ACT particular amino acid, but the C already deleted. So then AGA, that means the sequence of codon has been changed. So here the mRNA will change, and particular amino acid will be altered, and it will produce a faulty protein. Okay, faulty protein. So what will happen? So the genetic alteration, how it will happen? It is caused by external or internal factors. That can be that is called mutagen, physical mutagen or chemical mutagen. Mutagen will cause the alteration, deletion, or insertion, and it will change the sequence of the DNA, and finally that DNA will be replicated, and it will transcribe into a faulty mRNA, and it will produce the faulty protein, and that faulty protein is the problematic protein. How? I will just come up here. So when faulty protein will produce, then that will make problem. Now come to the point. So if you just recall the normal cellular community, that was very harmonious, where they are functioning and they are doing their job. Okay, no problem over there. But when faulty protein will produce, that means when within the cell, within the nucleus, genetic material will alter, and it will produce a faulty protein, and that protein will play some bad roles. That is, when the faulty protein will produce, that will inhibit or suppress the protein, caspase enzyme protein, which is responsible for when some cell will just try to go for try to go for replication or further mitosis containing the faulty genetic material, then it will just go for suicidal attack, suicidal death. That is apoptosis. Apoptosis. That is suicidal death of the cell because it's containing the faulty or mutated gene, and then the cell will produce a caspase pathway and that will destroy the cell. That is apoptosis. You can say that is programmed cell death. It will make a program to death the cell. Okay, so this is the matter, and it will be controlled by the suppose some enzymes, and that faulty protein will suppress that enzyme, and it will say, oh no need to do your work, just wait. So what will happen? It will freely replicate, and finally it will go for the cell division. So apoptosis will be apoptotic protein will be suppressed by the faulty protein, which is produced by the mutation. Okay, mutated faulty protein. One is that. Another one is that faulty protein and some will play an important role as like a autocrine factor, growth factor. It will produce within the cell and it will just come up on the surface of the cell and it will instigate as like the external signal growth factor. Okay, please produce your factors, produce your proteins, produce your enzymes. Okay, so it will produce its own growth factor. By the process of autocrine. Okay, so excessively when that will just work like autocrine and that will give the signal and it will just send the message to the nucleus. Okay, replicate and produce more protein, more factors, and then the nucleus or overall cell will be puzzled to produce different types of excessive substances, faulty protein and necessary growth factors and other things, and it will produce by its own as like autocrine process, and it will produce all the cellular organelles as well as their factors. And then what will happen? It will make the nucleus to replicate more and other factors and to produce, and it will make the cell obliged to replicate. That is abnormal proliferation. Okay, so problem is just start now. Problem is uncontrolled cell division. Okay, and that faulty uh, gene or mutated gene containing new cell will produce faulty protein as well as abnormal protein as well as this excessive autocrine growth factor and apoptotic separatory proteins, and that will make their proliferation excessively. That's the problem, and it will produce more excessive matrix metalloproteinase, which can be called as a seizure protein, and that will just work like a seizure. Okay, and that will, here the cell over the extracellular space, some connective tissues are there, so it will cut off the connective tissues in the neighboring environment, and that will attack the neighbor cell tissues. Okay, so suppose it will produce some matrix metalloproteinase, and that will cut the extracellular matrix factor and it will attack the neighbor. So attack the neighbor is called invasiveness. Invasiveness, that is invade. The invade means attack. Okay, so if it is continuing, then over there blood vessels are there, and when excessively production will occur, and some abnormal excessive metalloprotein are producing, suppressing proteins are producing. So overall and multifactorial complex situation is happening over there, and it will cause another problem, like it will fuse the blood vessel and it will go into that, it will just uh, go into your lymphatic system, that is bloodstream, your lymphatic system, and it can exploit. So that is called metastasis. Metastasis. Okay. So invasion, metastasis, and suppression of a apoptotic process. That means something is producing faulty. So faulty substances or faulty cell will be died by the apoptosis, but apoptotic protein is suppressed by the mutated protein or faulty protein, and it will just the cell faulty gene containing will produce more matrix metalloproteinase, and it will just cut up the extracellular channel, and the cell will be free to move. Okay, and it will just cross the blood vessel by different factors I will discuss later, and then it will spread throughout the body. Another thing is that it will produce excessively. Already I said it will produce its own growth factor, and that growth factor will work on it, and excessively protein substance will produce, and also it will produce faulty proteins, and that will make the cell more proliferation. So here proliferation more and more. So what will happen? In suppose here that was normal, and in that cell already mutated, and it will produce in that way. Okay, your structural and functional matter is different. That nucleus size is abnormal and cellular size is abnormal, and it is proliferating one after another without any necessity. Already said, in normal cell and tissues, on demand they are producing, but here abnormal and uncontrolled cell division are there. So here uncontrolled abnormal cell division, it is called, it will make a mass-like structure, and that is called tumor. Okay, so tumor is formed here. Why tumor is formed? Because genetic alteration of the within the nucleus, and then it will produce faulty DNA, and then faulty mRNA, and finally faulty protein, and that will make the whole changes of the within the cellular organelles as well as the extracellular abnormal condition, and it will just like it will produce more and more, and it will just change the change its position, and it will go and it will attack the liver normal cell. Okay, when excessively normal cell is produced, so extra nutrient is needed, extra oxygen is needed. So who will supply? So extra blood vessels also needed for carrying their nutrient. So actually color combination has been changed. So you can say here is the different, sorry, blood capillaries. So this is called angiogenesis. Angiogenesis, that is new blood vessel formation. Actually, new blood vessel formation is very normal phenomenon when chronic inflammation occur, massive cell damage occur. So normally within the control, the angiogenesis will produce to just create a channel to supply the nutrient and oxygen. Okay, but here completely abnormal, and over there extra blood vessel already producing, and they are making a network, and that will just encroaching their surroundings area, and it will make a problem. So what type of problem? They are invading and they are spreading, one problem. Another one is they are spreading throughout the body through the blood vessel and lymphatic system. So this is attacking of neighboring cell tissues. This is called invasiveness, that is invade, and spread out throughout the body, that is called metastasis. Okay, so that's the issues. So just come to the point, it is just producing a tumor. So cancer means tumor. So now we can discuss about tumor. So tumor already formed by mutation, abnormal cell division within a localized area, and it will form a abnormal tissue mass, and that is called tumor. Okay, so tumor means cancer? Actually, no. So tumors is two types. One is a red color should be used for danger, as indication of danger situation. So this is, I will say, this is benign and this is malignant tumor. Okay, so tumor, for tumor formation, mutation is necessary. After that, it will produce abnormal excessive cell growth and it will cause tumor. But all tumors are not problematic or not dangerous. So the one is benign. So benign means safe, no problem. Why? Because the benign cell, excessive growth of the cell, just working like normal cell. Normal cells are just arranging, or they are maintaining their harmonious condition, and they are living with their very good relationship with their neighbor cell tissues, because neighbor cell tissues exchange their different needs. They are exchanging their growth factor, they are exchanging their signaling factors, they are exchanging their even their genetic materials. Okay, so very beautiful, harmoniously they are living within a community. That's very good matter. But tumor or cancer will be different. I will just discuss. So in benign tumor, actually excessive cell growth will be there must, but actually or similar structure, but the number of cell is excessive than normal, but their structure and their function is almost like a normal cell. Okay, another thing, outer layer here is a boundary that is called fibrous capsule. Okay, capsule. Fibrous capsule are just cover up within the around the abnormal uncontrolled cell, which is basically not abnormal in their structure and function, but their overall production is more than normal, and it is also caused by the mutation. But within that cellular uh, structure, the cancerous gene, that means oncogenes, may be present or may not present. Mostly not present, sometimes may be present. But abnormal uncontrolled cell division within a frame, and which their structure and function is almost like a normal cell, but not exactly same as normal cell, because here number of cell is excessive within a particular location. So it has already produced a mass-like structure. So this is the tumor. So tumor means here must have excessive number of cell, and that will produce a mass-like structure, that is tumor. But the nature of the tumor is safe because it containing the excessive number of cell, but their nature is not dangerous. So this is the benign tumor. Okay, and now here is the malignant tumor. Malignant tumor cell structure is different, and they are not well organized, and their nucleus structure is also different. Okay, and it has no outer boundary, no outer capsule, fibrous capsule. Okay, and their nature is produce excessive matrix metalloproteinase. Already I said that will work as a seizure, and it will cut off the neighbor connective tissues and the cell, and also the production is uncontrolled, and also it will spread into the bloodstream, and it will just circulate. That means it can attack the neighbor cell tissues, and it can spread by the bloodstream or by the lymphatic system. Here different factors are there. So vascular endothelial growth factor and different types of angiogenic factor. So I will go further. So that is the matter. So here malignant tumor is uncontrolled and abnormal cell division. Okay, here uncontrolled, but you can not say this is abnormal cell, almost normal cell. It is uncontrolled, abnormal cell with invasiveness and metastasis. This is one of the major criteria. Not boundary here. Major criteria of malignancy. That is the dangerous matter. Malignant means dangerous, attacking. Okay, and this is benign. So if you consider cancer, so you can say cancer is a malignant disease. Okay, so now I will try to give you a basic definition of cancer. Come here. So now you can think, what is cancer? Cancer is a multifactorial malignant neoplastic disease. Multifactorial. Already you just see different factors. Malignant, that is the malignancy. Neoplastic, that is the word. So neoplasia. Already I said, when the normal cells are living in a harmonious environment by maintaining their communication, this is normal matter, and when some attack will be there and some cell may be died, and then instantly that will be covered up, that is made up of by the neighbor cell, this is by mitosis. Okay, but when in a stressful condition or adverse condition, the adaptive process, some excessive cell may produce, okay, within the control, within the limit, and that is called hyperplasia by oversupplying nutrient and hormone. Okay, but neoplasia means overproduction, then excessive number of the cell, uncontrolled abnormal, that is the matter. And overall, one of the major thing is the mutation. The mutation will be occur within the genetic material, and that will make changes the overall production process, that is replication, transcription and translation, and then it will make the overall changes of environment for abnormal cell growth, when it will produce the abnormal mass, and that is called neoplasia. Neoplasia means excessive abnormal cell growth, and it will produce a mass like structure, and it is basically caused by the mutation. Okay, so you can say neoplasia, that means tumor. Okay, so this is the neoplastic disease. So cancer is a multifactorial malignant neoplastic disease. Okay, now I will say which is caused by specific genetic alteration. Specific word is not proper here. Actually, specifically multiple genetic alteration. Specifically multiple genetic alteration. Okay, caused by and characterized by. Characterized by one is uncontrolled and abnormal cell division. Number two, you can say invasiveness, that is invasion. Three is dedifferentiation. Actually, dedifferentiation means, among the tissues, some cells are there that is called your stem cell, and that is easily converted into different types of cell on demand. Okay, but when mutation will occur or cancer or malignancy will produce, then actually a cell cannot be differentiated into particular different cell. The characteristics will be lost. So this is called dedifferentiation. That is the basic thing. But dedifferentiation meanings you can consider in another way. That is, one cell will be differentiated into two cells and two identical separate cell. Okay, but when it will be divided in a one place, one after another, as like a congestion, and it will not differentiate it properly. So you can consider it dedifferentiation. But actually, and scientifically, dedifferentiation means one cell can convert into different types of cell. That is differentiation. But when the process will be lost, this is called dedifferentiation. Okay, so dedifferentiation is one of the major characteristics of malignancy, that is cancer. Okay, and fourth one you can say metastasis. Metastasis. Already I says metastasis. Static, then meta means not static. It will spread out. It will spread out through the blood and lymphatic system. Okay, so this is one of the matter. So uncontrolled cell division, abnormal cell division, invasiveness or invasion, dedifferentiation, metastasis, and different regions are there, like loss of cell function and angiogenesis, over expression of angiogenesis, and so on. But these are the basic things. Okay, so you can now think about cancer is a multifactorial malignant neoplastic disease which is caused by the specifically multiple genetic alteration and characterized by uncontrolled and so on. Okay, so this is a beautiful definition. I just consider different things and then I try to make it clear, make a specific, precise definition. Okay, so different things may come in your mind, like tumor is cancer. No, not all tumors are causing cancer. Mutation can cause cancer, but not all mutation will not cause cancer. So two things you can consider. Two things. One is why you are not attacked by cancer normally. One things. And another things that cancer always concerned with tumor? Two things. Then I will just sum up today's lecture. So come here. So be careful about the definition. So I'll say no. Normally, mutation is a very normal phenomenon, frequently happening within your body, and your body has a precise proofreading activity during the cell division, during the replication, uh, the polymerase exonuclease activity, and that will, your DNA is synthesized by 5 to 3 direction. Okay, but an enzyme will just go in reverse way, that is polymerase exonuclease enzyme, and that will just try to check, and if it just find any fault or abnormal or unwanted base, then it will just cut up and just correct. So this is the proofreading activity. So proofreading activity is there. So mutation will mutation means cancer. No, mutation will be corrected by your own process. This is one thing. Another one is thing when the faulty nucleotide will just incorporate or produced within the genetic material, and it will just step up during your replication, and then we're going to the next step, your M phase. There, one normal process will just be active, like your Caspase pathway, and that will create apoptosis. Okay, and that will destroy the cell. That is suicidal attack. That is programmed cell death. So one is your proofreading activity. Second one is apoptosis. Third one, so the cell will not go for cancer or malignancy. Third one, your immune cell is just deployed throughout the body. When abnormal cell will produce, and it will recognize, oh, this cell is not our own cell, so they will attack and they will try to engulf it. Okay, so third one is your immunity. And another things is that normal cancerous cell, cancerous cell is immortal. Okay, they will never die, because one cell, when will be divided into two, the telomere will be decreased, and 50 times cycle it will be vanished, and you will be, we are getting older. But for cancer cell, it is different. When it will be divided, the telomere will increase. Okay, so it is immortal in a sense with that, but it also needs the proper environment. When it will produce, of course, for their survival, it will use nutrient, oxygen, and blood supply, But in that case, when it will travel, then in different adverse situations, they can die. Okay, so normally they can die. Okay, so your body has multiple function. Different barriers are there. So we normally not getting cancer. We have some powerful, strong mechanism. Okay, so you can say the mutation means cancer, not like that. But when cancer malignancy already occur, then of course you will say this is the end product, and this is the outcome of your mutation. So mutation is a must for your cancer, but not all mutation will cause cancer. Okay, now second one is your tumor. So tumor means cancer or not? Already I said that yes, tumor means not cancer, because benign tumor is not causing harm, but sometimes it may cause harm when as per its location. Suppose it is already produced within your brain in a particular area, and that will trap that area, and it will make the hamper of that function of that region of brain. So that in that way that will be the problem, but it will never turn into cancer. But recent study says that some benign tumor can turn into cancer, but it's very rare. Okay, usually you can say this is safe. So tumor is a must for cancer. That is the question. So actually, this is not, tumor is a must for cancer, but actually malignant tumor turn into cancer. Okay, so malignant tumor turn into cancer. It's true, but not always malignant tumor turn into, always that cancer would be from the malignant tumor. Okay, not like that. Exception is your blood cancer. Blood cancer, like your leukemia, you can say lymphoma, and you can say myeloma. Okay, the blood cancers actually not generated from the tumor. Okay, so always here also exception. But I mean, if we just look into the matter, that is most of the cancer, the end, the suffix, end suffix is oma. Like you can say sarcoma, you can say carcinoma. Okay, so here is oma, here is oma. So what does it mean, oma? Actually, oma means tumor. Oma means tumor. Okay, so mostly cancer comes from tumor, and that tumor is the solid mass. So this is the solid tumor, solid tumor. But here you can say basically the lymphocyte, lymphoma and myeloma, both things you can say this is liquid tumor. And if you just observe here also oma, lymphoma and myeloma. Why it carry oma? Because this is not come from tumor. Here's some difference. Basically, leukemia, the overall abnormal production of the blood cell, basically, leukocyte comes from your bone marrow stem cell, abnormal production. That is the overall blood cancer. But lymphoma, the lymphocyte, that can be B cell or T cell, a lymphocyte, that can be cancerous. And the maturation and their proliferation, basically the T cell is maturing in the lymph node here, thymus also. So they can accumulate the abnormal lymphocyte produced from bone marrow, and they can accumulate in the lymph node, and here it can produce a mass-like accumulation, not exactly the solid tumor-like mass, abnormal mass. Okay, so in that sense, you can consider as a lymphoma. Lymphoma is also blood cancer, but it is almost connected with the lymphocyte or lymph node pathway. And another one is myeloma. This is caused by the your plasma cell, that is antibody producing cell. Okay, so overall you can say tumor comes from cancer comes from malignant tumor, but exception is blood cancer. That would be the right answer. Although lymphoma or myeloma carry oma. So oma means tumor or neoplasia, but not always that. Always exception is everywhere. Okay, so this is all about the cancer and different factors, different characteristics, different um, terminology connected with this cancer basic discussion. So one after another, I will try to cover the whole cancer, and my target is to make it easy to understand the cancer, and then I will go for anti-cancer drugs. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and I will request you to subscribe my channel and also to share to your friends and your the learners actually. So thank you very much.